Hey guys, me again. Thank you for showing up. I want to say first that today's topic is going to be on love. And love comes in a lot of different forms, right? And the greatest love you could ever have is the greatest love you can ever have is the connection you have with God, with Jesus, right? So I'm going to start off with our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from evil. Thy is the kingdom, and the power, and glory forever. Amen. 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 Uh, so getting back to love. I had the joy of taking a walk today, and as I'm walking down the street, I started thinking about not just love, but the scars. It's like a battlefield wounding that some people carry with them, right? This isn't just energetic. It's seeing the way they walk, the way they're shy around people, the way they don't open up and they don't want to connect. Unfortunately, a lot of people use love as a weapon, right? Yeah, that's that in itself comes from the lack of self-worth, right? Because somewhere along the line, especially as kids, we want to be seen by our parents. We want to be seen by our idols. We want to be noticed and heard and appreciated and honored for the positions we have in life, right? And it's my experience throughout my life that the ones I chose to care about the most were the ones that were going to end in heartache. And I learned from those, right? That I can't put everything I am on the line for a little morsel of attention, right? And I saw somebody today that I've been noticing around my neighborhood, and they're healing from heartache and trauma and nothing's. I don't want to say nothing's worse, but to see a person, especially like a woman, right? When I think about the scars of love that a person carries, especially a woman, I think about because I have a daughter, okay, so I think about a girl, going out on her first date, really, getting dressed up and prettied up and just really, even if it's a first date, they want to look good. They want to be accepted. They want to be uh, seen for the beauty, on the not just the inside but the outside first, right? Because unfortunately we're human. We tend to be attracted by what's on the outside first, right? As you get on in your life, you kind of don't put too much stock into the way a person looks, right? Like the old cliche, I like it for her personality, right? I was that shallow growing up. I was shallow, and I ended up, I grew up fast. I had my first heartache when I was. I'm not going to mention the age, okay? But anyways, so getting back to this woman, right? Uh, the scars that she carried it's like going on the first date and it's a setup. You know what I mean? Like on the Carrie movie, right? I don't know if any of y'all seen that before, but it's devastating. When a woman puts her anybody puts their trust in faith in a person in a relationship, right? And to be hurt, to be strung along or to invest in a relationship where they just want to use you for your assets, right? And that's why it's so important that you have a connection with your Heavenly Father, and realize the love that Jesus had for us to be nailed up to a cross, for just the love of humanity, the love of God's children, right? Because a lot of us carry scars that not many people get to see, you know what I mean? And I believe that's the love that Jesus had, you know? He had so many scars on the inside that it's like the pain and you know, the pain of other people he had to take on for himself, you know, when you go to heal somebody, right? That has to go somewhere, right? And then in the end, it manifested on a cross. There's so many things that happen. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is that Jesus' love for humanity, for the universe, was eternal. Truly was. And so when I look at people walking around, you can tell by the way they walk, the way they smile, you know, especially if you see people in your neighborhood, you know, you get to see them grow. You get to see them change. And, you know, it doesn't really, it doesn't hurt to see people go through that, because we all have to go through things, right? We all have to learn how to love, and how sometimes people use it as a weapon, right? Either keep somebody in the relationship, guilt trip. You know, I always go back to like the whole narcissistic empath paradigm, right? But sometimes you have a first love, right? That you love so dearly, but you're scared to commit because you don't want that to be the end, right? You feel like your life's over if you commit to somebody and you're with them forever, because you know you're gonna cheat, so you don't want that, you know, that drama. You know, love can unfortunately be used as a weapon, but it can also be a badge of honor, you know, to really have love for everyone, you know, because, you know, for myself, I see things in other people that they don't even notice themselves sometimes, right? Well, they don't even have to speak for me to know what's going on with them, to know what's wrong. And I used to think of that as, I don't want to say a curse, but you know, I would fall blindly in love with a woman, right? Or even like a friendship, I'd give more of myself than I should, because I believe in love. I always will, no matter how much I've been hurt. I don't give up on love, because God always has that special someone for you. Always has that special someone. I guarantee you it. It just takes time to go through these relationships to know what you don't want, to find your self-worth. You get what I'm saying? It's like you gotta love yourself before you can love anybody else. Really. You know, and for me, when I started putting my love into God, into Jesus, you know, put my love into that, because I didn't know how to love myself. And I didn't want to run into a relationship, get involved with someone, because I knew their motives, right? So I started investing in love and into God, right? And trusting all of me with him, right? And that was the greatest investment I ever did and continue to do, you know, because it's paid back tenfold, right? I learned how to love myself. I became centered, you know, and then it came to me starting to care about other people again, truly caring for other people, because I was able to learn how to care for myself, you know. So when I see people on the street that I've just noticed, you know, because you invest your time, you know, when you walk down the street, especially if you're in a neighborhood, you invest your time because you care about the neighborhood you're in, right? So as I walk by people, I can tell the love or the hurt that they hide inside, the scars that they've gone through, just the afflictions that people have put upon other people, you know. They'll be walking down the street and they'll be just stone-faced, you know, just walking down the road, but I can still feel that heartache and that pain that they have, you know, confusion. And I believe in this, guys, that, you know, after you break up with someone, right, it takes about the amount of time you were involved with them to fully heal from that. It's like getting your time back. And I promise you, if you're in alignment and you're doing what you need to do in life, God will give you your time back. You will get that back. You got to have faith in it. I kid you not, I've been kidding a bit. I look nothing like what I went through, and I've been through a lot. So I just say this from experience. So I urge you not to give up on love, not to give up on the idea of love. You know, this world, you know, has a lot of programming. It embeds into people, right? And you start getting lost, and you think that, hey, I can go out to the bar, get hooked up with somebody, go back home and sleep with them, and ultimately all that does, guys, it dirties up your energy, it dirties up your path. You're in a relationship, and you lose focus on what you're trying to accomplish. So, before you leap into a relationship, people, make sure you're ready. Make sure you have room for that person, because you'll be doing them an injustice if you don't. You get what I'm saying? And make sure when you come to the table to talk about a relationship, be honest. You know what I mean? And don't always fall in love with somebody just like you, because that's pretty boring. You know what I mean? It is. In a way it is, and in a way it's not. It depends on what stage in your life you're in, right? So I guess today this topic is just love. I had this counselor one time that told me, JW, you're in love with the idea of being in love. Because I was young, and I talk about this girl I was with and how she broke my heart. And it was like, to my counselor, it was kind of cute, right? That she was like almost like boyish, real boyish to her, But that really stuck with me, And another thing that stuck with me when she used to talk, she was so she was older, but she was young at heart. And another one is, you want people in your life that are gonna pull you forward instead of hold you back. You get what I'm saying? And relationships of the future do not lie in the past. Do you get what I'm saying? Relationships of the future do not lie in the past. How many of you guys have gotten to a relationship and said, we're gonna make it work this time? But in the back of their mind, they know all the hurt and the pain that they've done to you, right? And you've done to them. And they're thinking in the back of their mind, how long until we break up? Or I better not do this again, when they know they are. You know what I mean? It's like setting yourself up for a hard time, right? So I'm not saying overthink relationship and love. You'll know. It's like some of the greatest relationships you ever have are ones you can just sit in a room alone and not even talk. You get what I'm saying? Not out of not out of boredom, but out of, you already know what the other person is feeling and thinking at the time. Sometimes people need to be left alone, right? But that doesn't mean you can't be in the room with them, right? So love is a double-edged sword. It can be, but if it's the right person at the right time, and in God's time, ultimately it's all in God's timing. He's the creator of all things seen and unseen. He knew who you'd be with before you were with them, ultimately. So sometimes you have to feel the hurt, get through the pain, get through the loss to know what you're going to gain. Right? And if anybody's caught up on, and that's nothing, if anybody's caught up on how you look, right, and what you have to bring to the table, as in like monetary and all that, and they don't see the real self-worth that's inside of you, there's a difference between a gold digger and all that stuff. I'm saying, if they don't see you for who you are and what shines within you, it's not the right one. It's not the one that will go to bat for you when it gets rough, ultimately. Because when your money runs out, you start getting old, they'll leave you, unfortunately. And that's the way you got to look at it. It's, when the honeymoon phase runs out in the relationship, you start realizing we have nothing in common. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like this. At this day and age, everybody's one paycheck away from being broke, right? Or two paychecks away from being homeless, right? That's just the way this world is right now, and what happens if your loved one breaks a leg, is unable to work, and you're draining your bank account? Get what I'm saying? How is that gonna feel? Because vice versa. I'm just saying is, when the money runs out, what's left? You know what I'm saying? What if they get in an accident and half their face gets taken off? Are you gonna still be there for them? Or are they gonna still be there for you? And you don't have to test them. You'll know naturally, okay? I don't believe in the whole testing phase and all that in a relationship. You'll know. If you're willing to invest, you'll invest, okay? And don't get mad if the person that you didn't invest in was the one you should have been with, you feel, down the road. Because that's how you learn and you age. You learn, it's like a fine wine, right? You get better and better with age. Unfortunately, some people get worse because, you can live so fast and so quick. It's almost like, you go to a dance club and you're partying and stuff like that, and by 2 o'clock in the morning, you realize you're the only one still on the dance floor, right? It's kind of like that, So you really have to, if you want to get in a relationship, make sure it's the time. I'm not one for going out to bars, going out to nightclubs, stuff like that, because you're just going to a meat market. You're going there to get empty. You understand? Trying to distract from your life. Get what I'm saying? I'm not saying be a prude or anything like that, but isn't it better just to get ready for yourself, get prepared for that real love, instead of going out and trying to find empty relationships? What's wrong with that? Just being by yourself on your own, building a relationship with our Creator, right? Building that up and preparing your self-worth so that when you come to the table, you're equally yoked. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And again, if someone's trying to get with you and all they care about is your money and your looks, and they leave you and then you're left alone, get what I'm saying? Anyways, just love is the ultimate treasure, right? Finding true love, your forever companion, is the ultimate treasure. Get what I'm saying? And you got to learn how to trust. When you start building on yourself, you start trusting yourself to be in different situations with different people, right? And that's the beautiful part about this is when you learn what trust, that's another thing, you'll learn what trust really is. It's not something like a pass-fail. It's knowing that there's limits to certain things. There's limits to people you should be around. There's limits to like old people, places, and things, right? You don't want to go back to those because you knew what you would get into and the type of people you'd attract, right? So anyways, I want to show you this look at that new piece I'm doing right there. Pretty, huh? Anyways, it's it's a great piece, One thing I've had to learn with all this is that we are beautiful people, right? We are truly beautiful. It doesn't matter what color, what creed, what religion, what nationality, it doesn't matter. We're all beautiful, right? It's like a diamond's embedded in this rock, right? You chip the rock apart and then there's this beautiful diamond inside, right? And that's what we are. We're all, it's like a beautiful baby boy, right? When you're born, a beautiful baby boy or baby girl, right? And then the world, as they start growing up, the world's stress, the world just starts bearing down on them, and then all that programming gets embedded, and then people become insecure, egotistic, narcissistic, all these things, and you just see the pain and the agony inside, right? Because they didn't get love somewhere, or they had a twisted form of love, right? Something didn't connect. So somewhere along the lines in our lives, we didn't connect with what love really was. Sometimes people learn quicker, sometimes people learn slower. But when you learn what love is, it usually starts with yourself, an inside job. It really does. Because I know my self-worth, I know how good of a person I am, I know how loving I am, and I know what I bring to the table. It's not about what's here, guys. It's not about what's here. It's what's really in here. It all radiates from the heart, right? Like, look at this, seriously, look at that. Look at this new piece I'm doing, guys. It's freaking beautiful. That's what it is. It's like it was hidden from the world for so long, and now my artistic beauty is coming out. Nobody look at me and say, oh, you're an artist. You got to be an artist, right? Until they see my work, right? That's what I'm talking about is people want to look at you like I'm walking down the street. People people look at me and they want to stand off because they never gave me they don't want to give me a chance of the real me. And it's not like I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. No, it's really because they look at the exterior, they look at the cover, and don't even want to read what's inside, right? So don't be like that to others, guys. You know, angels come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. And you don't know where they're at and when they'll be, when you'll come to contact with them, guys. You know what I mean? And that's to say, that's why I mean, beauty is just, it radiates, you know? And, you know, like, you ever seen that, the girl she dresses up, she gets all prettied up and stuff, and she doesn't understand why guys won't come up and talk to her. Why every other guy's in the background, like it's intimidating, oh, she's too good looking. And all she wants is guys to come talk to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some girls that are pretty stuck up and they're gold diggers. You'll know that type. But there are women out in this world and men that just get dressed up because they want to attract someone. But when you're really in love with yourself, you know, you love who you are, you know your self-worth. I'm not saying in love with yourself, that's kind of like misogynistic, but anyways, no, when you have that self-worth and you know who you are, you know, that true one will come find you. That real one will find you. They'll know you for who you are because they won't care about what's all right here. They'll like what's in here and what you have to talk about, you know, and how your integrity level, they'll just know that there's something deep about you. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it all starts right here. You know, people who are shallow and all that don't want to go deep. They don't want to go deep. They don't want to get to know themselves because then they're afraid they might be boring or they might, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly, but I'm just trying to give you guys the best advice on love because that can be a double-edged sword. It could be a word that stifles a conversation or escalates a conversation, right? So just know it's an inside job. You know, when we try to find love all out here, in the exterior, we're losing out on what's on the inside, on ourselves, because we can be our own best friend. We really can. Because when the chips are down and someone's trying to press you into something you shouldn't be doing, instead of going along with them because you want to feel loved, you want to feel appreciated, you'll turn your back and walk. Because no one who loves someone is going to allow themselves to be in some sticky situation that's a dead end. That could be hurt, heartache, you know, a whole lineup of things, right? So when you love yourself, you'll learn to trust yourself, and you'll learn that, hey, this person don't care about me. This is an empty street. This is heartache. There's hidden motives. And it's not out of paranoia. It's that you know. And that if it came down to it, you would see that person and what they're trying to do, and you'd walk away really quick. Because they don't care about you. They just care about what you have to offer and what you'll bring to the table for them. It took a long time to get here for myself. It did. I had to work through a lot of deep insecurities, deep hurt, deep heartache, deceptions, all that stuff, all the whole gauntlet that a soul can do to another. Right? I had to heal from and go forward with. So it's taken me time to get here, and I've had to learn all these things. That's why I'm able to bring this to you with the whole heart and full faith in that what I say, if you internalize it, mull it over, sleep on it, start thinking about what love really is, and start how you can love yourself today, rather than how can I spread myself thin with trying to love all these other people and not give myself the greatest gift I could ever give, and that is love, really. So anyways, guys, thank you for showing up. If you like, please like, subscribe, share this knowledge. You know, people out there want to find love, and they need to know how to love. They need to find that passion and that fire for themselves. You know, and I'm telling you, it starts with the connection. For me, this is how I did it, was my connection with God. And acknowledging that Jesus loved us so much, he was willing to die on the cross for us. That much I know is true. I know, kind of like small now. That whole much is true. Anyways, yeah, just thank you for stopping by, and I hope you find love. You know, I hope you really take time to love yourself today and find people who really do love you for who you are, not what you bring to the table, but for who you are and everything that's locked inside of you. Because you're an important person. You're the most important person on this planet. Because if you don't exist, your world doesn't exist. See what I'm saying? All right, guys. God bless. Praise Jesus.